When we talk about death and dying, and again bring us back to the tarot and the death card, we can talk about the idea of a transition between one stage of life and the next, the end of a previous existence, the beginning of a new existence, the end of the old you, the shedding of the old psychic or cognitive or psychological flesh, in order to begin and build a new skin, a new psychic skin, a new psychological skin. However, the skin is built from the remains of the old flesh. Like everything else in nature, there is a recycling aspect. The new skin is built from the decayed entropy of what fell off the old world. So for instance, suppose it can become very apparent when you revisit places many years later and you may get a smell of an aroma or a particular perfume or a particular flower, and suddenly you remember that person or that place or that time. Now what's always interesting about this process is that even if you have only positive or only negative memories regarding that aroma that triggers these memories in your head, or sensations, the surprising thing is that both come up. For instance, you may find that there was an element of an individual who you previously had a good or a positive viewpoint of, when you're suddenly and quickly reminded of them, both through a smell of a perfume or the sound of a song. It often surprises people that the negative stuff comes up. You might find that there was aspects of your idealism of this person has been suppressed. This is very important for you to use as a means of creating a transition within your psychic firewall in order to understand yourself better. Everything you want in this life is there for you to take. The only inhibitor is you, in terms of how you process your own cognitive, psychological and emotional life. Imagine your goals are already completed. You have already reached them. A kind of inhibitory Gnosis appears, and this was very much pushed by the chaos magicians of the 1970s and 80s, particularly in England. And this idea was that everything has already happened. Your dreams, your desires, the reason why you have not attained them is because you have got in the way of them. And often this is because of self-assumptions about yourself and self-assumptions about misguided notions of expectations in regards to how to process this outcome. In other words, you've got to get out of the way of yourself in order for these realizations and these resolutions to resolve themselves in front of you so they can become complete. Again, this is another problem people have. If you're developing a magical outlook, you cannot approach a magical outlook in terms of, I desire this and I want this, in the belief that somehow it's somewhat or completely or unrealistically unobtainable. In fact, that you may not believe that this is your last hope, this desire, this wish, this need. The reality is that fear-based idea of the expectation, it must be resolved, it must be fulfilled, is what's stopping the outcome from processing itself.